this season that have not been met through 7 games?
To be honest, it's not really about the expectations. It's not really about what the rest of the world was expecting us to do. For us, we have a standard, and we're not living up to it. And then obviously losing makes it even worse. So extremely disappointed, but the only thing we could do is get back to work, just continue to believe in each other, not turn on each other, and it's on to the next.
You know, it's interesting, Glenn. We talked after the show last Saturday about how we only see Noah come out for postgame after losses, that it appeared to be something he wanted to do. Well, Desiree Reed-Francois confirmed that on our interview with her this week, that he told the coaching staff, I'll go out after the losses, let the other guys go out after the wins.
Yeah, that's selflessness. That's what you want from your leader. Your leader wants to take the thing on his shoulders. But I'm tired of hearing from Noah.
Right.
I'm tired of hearing from Noah.
We'd like not to see Noah
so
for a while.
Let's not see Noah. Okay, I love Noah, but I just don't want to see him anymore. Okay, the rest of the season on the press conference after the game, he's they're figuring it out, man. I know the word figuring it out. People are getting tired of, but it's only 6 games, 7 games into the season, man. And, into this regime, and we're going to continue try to get better. And, there's a lot of teams that have had this struggle when they first started, and they turned it around. And I'm counting on this coaching staff and these guys to do that same thing.
Brent Brennan this week says we have no control over what's going on outside of our 4 walls.
We don't control that. You know what I mean? And so that the best teams I've ever been a part of did a fantastic job of leaning on each other and turning in when it was good or bad, right? And finding ways to move forward together. And I think that's what's really important, is that the team, every player, every coach, everybody that is part of our program continues to lean into each other, whether we win or lose. Because you're right, as you go, but that's the nature of football, right? The pressure mounts the later in the season you get. And so can we lean into each other, and can we do the best job we can managing that, right? Like not letting that be something that is a distraction or something that is, for some people suffocating.
A common phrase we hear during these times when a team is struggling is, has the coach lost the locker room? Well, Dalton Johnson and Noah Fifita say that is not happening here at Arizona.
We talk about our brotherhood a lot and how we're a family. So, a loss isn't going to, separate a whole family. We can't allow it to happen. And one thing we're definitely not going to do is do the blame game. It's no one's fault. It's all of our fault. The team lost. One individual lost. It's just we're just going to come to work, and get right.
I think there's naturally frustration just because we're all competitors and we hate losing at the end of the day. But, as long as nobody's pointing fingers, nobody's turning on each other, that's what really matters. And we're in a really good spot in terms of nobody blaming each other, nobody pointing fingers. Defense has all the right in the world to get on me, get on our offense, because at the end of the day, 7 points will never be enough in a college football game. But, they continue to just talk about what they need to do better. So our culture is still strong, and we got to be able to transfer it into football.
Yeah, I do not think that Brent Brennan has lost this locker room at all. That would be obviously, and I think sometimes you can tell when that's happened. I don't believe that that's happened here.
No, I don't believe that either, man. Because if you really listen to all the stuff that's being said around about this program out on these chats, and I'm going there. And I go out there and I listen to some of these chats.
I'm like the players. I don't even read the chats.
I go in there and I'm like, are these guys on a different planet? Or are these?
Most of them are.
Yes, they are. They're definitely on a different planet. And then I go look at their profiles, and I got guys that are airline stewardesses and
guys not to knock airlines.
Not to knock airlines. I haven't seen a head coach for a football team and an airline stewardess. Okay, but there's there's these backgrounds and people have these strong opinions. Come on, let's just calm down and let's just let these guys play it out. And we've had I've never seen so many injuries on so many key positions on a team at the University of Arizona. And we can talk about that, and and everybody wants to throw the strength and conditioning staff underneath the bus, but I just don't think that's necessary because of the injuries that we are seeing are some of the like freak injuries,
right?
Things that are happening that are just freaky accidents, and that's what's killing us right now. We have some serious injuries that are just not they're not coming back, and some of the guys are not coming back for the rest of the season. And we got to have next man up. We are going to either see some guys here that are going to be like, hey, I can play in this league. I can really. And some guys are going to say, well, you can't play because you're not good enough. You need to develop a little bit more. So we're going to find that out in these next remaining games that we have. We have 5 games left.
Right.
So we're going to find out who those guys are.
All right, let's hear from Dwayne Aquina, who talked about the nucleus of this organization, this Wildcat team, and how they are staying connected during this 3-game losing streak.
We're all in this together. The beauty of this team, I was raised by the same guy in this profession that he was raised by. It's going to be tough. We're all going to assume responsibility, and we're all going to fix this thing. And I know Dick Tomey is smiling now because he would embrace these situations. The tougher it gets, the better we are. Just everybody do your job. We're all in, and let's go fix this thing. You know, much like the players laugh at me because so many times at this I reference Apollo 13. You know, let's get that round hole in the peg. Somebody go get the duct tape, man, and let's go fix this damn thing. All right? Because now we wanted to walk on the moon. Now let's just get Apollo 13 back.
You gotta love Dwayne Aquina.
Yeah.
Dwayne Aquina-isms, as I like to say. You gotta love what he brings to the table.
And he's absolutely right. You know, we're all in. It's like we're surrounded because ain't nobody else going to come outside to help you. It's all going to be within. That's what it's going to be like. And you have to count on the guy next to you. Even though that guy was during fall camp and everything was never next to you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
You got to encourage him, say, "Hey, let's go. Let's go. Let's play some football." And that's what's going to have to come, and it's going to have to come deep down from their hearts.
All right. Glenn mentioned there are injuries to talk about. And the head coach actually talked about them this week.
Jacob is going to be out for the season, and so is Rhino. Just so you guys have a heads up on that. It's unfortunate how those things happened, but this is a situation where, like, you always say next guy up, but somebody has to pick up the flag. And somebody has to get ready to go.
Yeah, and I'm glad he did that because I think if he had tried to run from it again, like he has at times this season in terms of the injuries, it would have just been another negative cloud hanging over this program. And I've always talked about transparency. I think you want to see transparency from your coaches, from your administrators, from your political leaders. You want transparency because if you get out in front of it, then there's no need for speculation. There's no need for people behind the scenes or around the program saying this and saying that. And so I thought that was an important moment for Brent Brennan to come out and say, look, we're not going to have these guys moving forward. And I was glad that he made that decision this week to let us know up front that those guys were going to be gone for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and that's something I think he had to do because he couldn't have these guys, on the sideline or even, in dress clothes and say, not tell them if they're going to be back.
Right.
That those are mainstay guys. We've had we have 5 guys that are our main players that are out for the rest of the season.
Right.
And
more than that, really.
I know, but 5 guys that are like
were 3 captains.
Yeah, the 3 captains, and then there was 2 other guys that we were looking at that were going to be like a pivotal, like a mainstay in our offense and our defense. So we have to be able to gather that information and say, hey, we got to move on. We just got to move on. That's the nature of football. Football is a physical game. People are going to get hurt, and it's the survival of the fittest. Who's going to be able to survive all those things that are going down as far as injuries and being out for a game. How are they going to survive? How are they going to come back? Those are the kind of teams that you build toughness in a squad, and that'll build toughness down to the core of this team.
Well, and that's the other storyline, I think, of this game today on both sides is that the Wildcats, we know what they're dealing with injury-wise. West Virginia comes in here with their own injury issues, and in particular at the quarterback position, and we'll dive into that as well as we move forward with you over the course of the next now 2 hours and about 45 minutes. We've got you until 2:30 today here, Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Kickoff coming up for you at 4 o'clock between the Wildcats and the Mountaineers. Let's let you know what we've got coming up on the rest of today's show.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show, brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, so we're going to get into the offense. Chris Hunter scored his first college touchdown last week. Interesting backstory with him coming out of New Orleans and one of his famous high school teammates. We'll hear from Chris Hunter on that. We'll delve into the offensive line issues and who the next man up is at left tackle. Who's in the huddle with us today, Mr. Howe?
They started this season off with all kinds of questions about this NIL stuff. What are these kids doing with all this money? What are they doing? Well, we're very fortunate to have a young lady that's the president and partner of Meridian Wealth Management who works with some of these athletes. Natalie Fernandez-Lee is going to be in the huddle. We're switching it up, bringing her in the huddle and talk about some of the things of what these guys and how this NIL is changing kids' lives and families' lives. Not just the kids, but the families of these kids. They're changing their lives. So we're going to be in and we're going to have some good discussion about that and find out what these guys are doing.
And although we don't have Kelvin Ifan on the broadcast with us this morning, we will go into the Captain's Corner and hear from Quali Connolly, who this game means a lot to him. We're going to celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month here at this home game today, and Quali is a young man on this team who is dealing with just that, is his mom is in a battle for her life against that dreaded disease. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day coming to you live from the U of A Mall. Stop by and say hello. I don't know, we may have some tickets to give away, possibly. If we do, we'll do that in the 1 o'clock, maybe the 12 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock. The 1 o'clock hour, we'll do that today. Along with Glenn Howe, J.W. Madden, and Audio Bob back in studio, Priscilla Mugwa and team out here. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's our first look at the game, brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona football is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polson Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats.
Find them online at bepestfree.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. The one and only home of Arizona football. Pre- and post-game coverage, play-by-play, and live press conferences. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Ifan. Here is the Wildcats offensive scouting report for today's game.
He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona.
The offensive scouting report is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Snap, they'll go jet sweep around and into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. Beautiful play run there. And that is Chris Hunter, who came from one side to the other.
Chris Hunter getting his first college touchdown last week on the jet sweep, and that was a play we saw a lot of in fall camp this year. I think first time we might have seen it once before, I think, in a game, but a good play to run to get Chris Hunter into the end zone. He also set career-high marks last week. He had 4 catches for 30 yards, including that 1 touchdown. Chris Hunter, who hails from New Orleans, getting his first significant opportunity, the redshirt sophomore, in the 34-7 loss to the Colorado Buffaloes. Welcome back out here to the U of A Mall. It is Arizona Game Day, brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. It's the Wildcats and the West Virginia Mountaineers, a couple of 3-4 teams. Wildcats 1-3 in conference play. However, West Virginia has come in here. They'll come in here at 2-2. They've lost 2 in a row. They started conference play 2-0, but have fallen in back-to-back games to ranked opponents in Iowa State and Kansas State. So, again, the schedule getting a little bit more difficult for them, and they're looking to try to get a victory here today. Let's hear from Chris Hunter on what he had to do to get to this point. Again, as most guys, you come in as a freshman, you start on the scout team, but this was a young man that over the course of the last year on the scout team has been working against some pretty good cornerbacks on the varsity side.
Those times really allowed me to work on my craft. I'm going against the one corners, and if you see our corners, 6'4", 4'3" runner guys, legit. So using that time really helped me as a receiver to hone my skills.
Who were the DBs who really helped you?
Oh, Takario Davis, the guy we got now. He a monster. You see him. I used to try to compete against him every day. It helped that he was my roommate. So after practice, we would go home. He'd give me pointers here and there. So going against him, and obviously our guy last year, Efi, he helped me. Even Emmanuel Carnley, who starts for us now, I was going against him too. They're really good corners. You know what I'm saying? So those reps really helped me out.
You heard him mention Efi. That was Ephesians Prysock, who was on the team last year. Just, Glenn, evidence of when you've got top-quality guys, and we know Takario is going to be a high draft pick. We'd imagine maybe Efi's probably going to be a drafted cornerback, really preparing young receivers like a Chris Hunter.
Yeah, you know how the old saying is iron sharpens iron.
Right.
And if that's what good programs do. If you look at over the years that, let's take, for example, Alabama, there was a lot of guys that were on their scout team that were first-round draft choices, okay, because they had to work their way up through the system because they had so much talent there.
Yeah.
So that's where you have to be able to really have these guys that are really good that are playing on the scout team. You're going to see some of those guys. We're going to have to, those guys get better. And, when I was playing, we had some good guys on the scout team, too. I had to go against Chris Singleton every day. He was a first-round draft choice. He was a freshman. He was going up against a senior, myself. Those guys get better as they play against the better competition. And then they're not going, hey, going to a game man, I've been going against a first-team guy all year, and some of our guys are going to be first team all Big 12, and some of the guys are going to be in high draft choices. So those are good guys to be able to practice and be able to say that, hey, I'm going to get better.
And in terms of Chris Hunter, this is a young man who is really good in the preparation process, says his passing game coordinator, Matt Atkins.
I think he might be one of, if not the best practice players on offense. He consistently goes. He's consistently available. I can't think of a practice where he has shut himself down. And every single time that he's going, he is going. And when you practice with that type of intensity, good things just start happening for you. And on top of that, he has the speed where that is a big benefit for us offensively. The way that he has worked throughout practice makes you feel like I think there's still a little bit more to come in terms of I still think there's going to be a game or two where everyone walks away saying, wow, he's a heck of a player and did a great job.
Well, and you talk about, again, one of the philosophies of the old regime was they wanted kids from winning programs, winning high school programs, kids who were used to and knew how to practice and prepare to win. We talk about the kids that have come from Hamilton and some of the programs, Chandler up in the Phoenix area. This is a young man from Cardinal Newman High School, a Catholic school in New Orleans that is a football factory.
Yes.
Yeah, and let's hear from Chris Hunter talking about going from the public school life to the Cardinal Newman life down south.
So like Newman, it was just like, it wasn't the easiest transition into that school. I went from a public elementary school, Alice Hart, and I then went into Newman, which was a private school. It was like, the perfect environment for me to be in, being in New Orleans. And so, just coming from public environment to a private environment, just like being accustomed to, you have a little more freedom, I'd say, in the sense that I had free periods. I never had that before in school. The buildings and everything was way bigger. I never had that before. So it kind of like, I felt like not an adult, but I felt I was forced to be older a little quicker in that environment I was in, and just the kids I was around. It was just culturally different in that instance. So that was the only difficult part, I'd say, but it wasn't nothing too difficult. It was just like something to get used to.
And go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say is that Coach, when he says that when these coaches nowadays in year 2024 are saying that you are going hard in practice, they actually have factual information of you going hard at practice, because they wear these catapults, things that really track all your running, how fast you're going, how hard you're going. So back in the day, you could take a couple plays off, okay? You could take a couple plays off. Now they're constantly reading data of all the stuff that you were doing at practice. So how much pressure you're putting on force plates, all these different things of actually showing data of it. So practice after practice, every week, I'm sure they're going in there and looking, saying, what did this kid do? Did he work hard this week in practice? They're looking at actual data. So it's really something when a coach comes in the press conference and says that he's just working his butt off, because they actually know that.
And one of his teammates at Newman High School in New Orleans, his last name is Manning, and he's one of the quarterbacks down at Texas right now. Arch Manning. Chris talked about what he learned being a teammate of Arch Manning.
I mean, he was a cool, real, super down-to-earth dude, one of the coolest people you'll ever meet, super humble, super chill. His dad, too, they helped me along the way. Just cool people to be around.
What kind of ball player?
Competitor. Always competing day in, day out. If you were to ask him, he probably would have said he was faster than me. I mean, we proved it in races and stuff, but, just like competitor. And that's all you want to be around, competitors.
And, of course, Arch's dad, maybe one of the lesser known of the brothers, Cooper Manning. They're all popular down there in New Orleans for sure, but that's a young man, obviously highly recruited out of high school, Arch Manning, and now is seeing his playing time in that dual quarterback role down with one of the top teams in the country in Texas.
And when you're around those kind of guys, you look at them and you say, man, they're so good, and you want to be something like that. You want to be better than that. I had a classmate, Jack Del Rio. He was the number one linebacker in the country in 1981. Went to USC, was a fourth-round pick of the New Orleans Saints, coached in the NFL. Those guys you look at and you say, man, the working habits, the stuff they do in practice, you try to emulate. That's what makes you a better player.
And we mentioned in segment number one, there are a lot of injuries to deal with on this Arizona team. On the offensive side of the ball, you saw Rhino Tapa'ototai leave the game last week, and you heard the coach in the first segment say that he will be out for the season. Rhino had started pretty much all but one game at left tackle. Jonas Savianaya had started at left tackle against NAU, but Rhino had started all of the other games. What's the plan now, Brent Brennan?
So right now it's going to be Michael Wooten, and then Joey Capper's going to be backing up a couple of those spots, inside and maybe outside.
Is that Michael at left?
or Jonah?
I think it's going to be Jonah at left. We're still working through that. Today is kind of a recovery and a development day, and so that was just us getting back out there and kind of getting moving around and some of that. So.
Do you think Michael will be in a better headspace with practice versus being thrown in like he was?
I hope so. I hope so. One of the things that was unfortunate for him is he got rolled up in training camp, so he missed a few weeks of practice that way. But we're excited that he's here, and he's a young player. And when you look at that group, right, with Rhino being the left tackle, redshirt freshman, Deuce being a redshirt freshman, now we're putting a redshirt sophomore out there. There's just a lot of youth there, right? And so that speaks to the idea that we have to be smart and as a coaching staff in terms of what we ask our people to do.
All right, we'll dive into that a little bit more as we go along in the show today. It's Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, coming to you live from the U of A Mall ahead of Arizona and West Virginia. That's your Arizona offensive scouting report for this Saturday.
That's the Wildcats Offensive Scouting Report. The Offensive Scouting Report is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. O'Reilly Chevrolet, get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
All right, coming up, we'll go in the huddle with Howe. It's Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day with Glenn Howe. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. There's a rumor summer could finally come to an end. And with cooler temperatures on the way, it's a good time to stop by any of the 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. If it's time for any other seasonal maintenance, we've got you covered with the most award-winning service around. You'll see why Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the locals' favorite for tires and automotive repair. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion. Make Dave & Buster's a part of your weekly rituals. Military Monday, get extra gameplay on your card. Tuesday night is Trivia Night with great prizes. Thursday is extra credit with student discounts on gameplay after 9 p.m. Stop in Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials. Want more? Rewards members will get an extra 100 chips with the purchase of 100 chips and Sunday sips for hospitality workers. Full and quick service restaurants, hotels, and amusement parks. Discounted beverages and apps after 9 p.m. only at Dave & Buster's.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think first car
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Ifan. Let's go in the huddle with Arizona letterman Glenn Howell. In the huddle with Glenn Howell is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, with over 25 years serving Arizona.
Welcome into this week's edition of In the Huddle with Howell, presented by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. I'm U of A tight end Glenn Howell, class of 1985, and our guest today, we're very, very lucky. We get the president and the partner of Meridian Wealth
the lady
Management.
whose name is on the show.
Yeah, on the show, who runs the show. She's our big sponsor. We have Natalie Fernandez. We welcome you to In the Huddle. How you doing, Natalie?
I am good. How are you? I'm ready for some good football today.
Yes, we are. We're all ready for some good football. We are excited about today. We're really thankful that you can come by. And I know you have a busy schedule doing all the things that you do in the community. I know that you do so much stuff in the community. I see you everywhere. You're at this charity. You're at that charity. You're doing so many things. How does that help you as far as doing everything in the community, help you as far as your business and everything, being connected?
Well, Meridian Wealth Management as a boutique wealth management firm and building my business in Tucson for the last 25, 30 years, I don't think there's any business that realizes success without giving back into the community that is forming them and assisting them to grow. So we have so many great clients. We have so many great community members. And it is an obligation, I believe, as a business owner to give back into the community. So in every facet, we try to spread our reach. And I have my priorities just like everybody does. And one of my biggest priorities is what can my own kids learn from so that as they grow up, they see what their mother's done with the business and the community and that give back. One of my greatest give backs that I'm most proud of is building a legacy of educating youth on finances. And if we can get young people to understand money and be comfortable with it.
Economic literacy.
And
Yes.
when they become part of the working class and developing their own businesses, developing their careers, creating their families, whatever it is they're doing, then with that financial education, they're going to be able to be much more successful and steps ahead of so many others.
Yeah.
So that's a huge, huge part of my commitment to the community.
Financial literacy is essential for just the growing of our economy, just everybody contributing to our economy. So how, where, and when did you decide to get into the financial management business?
I have to give a little bit of credit to my dad. He retired a year ago at the age of almost 81, about to turn 81, and had spent over 50 years in the wealth management business. So as one of 6 kids, 3 of us are in this industry. But I would say he was our guiding force or inspiration into the business. But I started back in the mid-'90s with Mr. Click at Arizona Bank.
Okay.
And developed through. I've worked with several other firms, and this February will be our 5-year anniversary of opening Meridian Wealth Management here in Tucson. And it's been a tremendous, fun ride. We're a little bit over $3.5 billion registered investment advisory firm and a nationally ranked Forbes wealth management firm. So it's pretty exciting what we've been able to do over the last several years.
So let's go back even further than that. What drew your dad into it? why did he think it was important, or why did he think that was where he wanted to see his future, and how he thought that could benefit his children and grandchildren down the line?
That's a really good question. So 1970, he had graduated from the U of A.
Wow.
And he's from a town up north, Williams, Arizona.
Yeah.
He had come down and graduated from the university. And in 1970, the first Dean Witter was opened here in Tucson, which has been gobbled up and renamed in multiple
people
times.
don't
know what Dean Witter is. I was going to say. You got to go way back on that.
Just know, 54
Even
years
the commercials
ago,
on
that-
TV.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a thing 54 years ago.
Yeah.
So really, he had a gentleman that got him involved, and I don't think he realized what it would mean for his career getting involved in that industry, but he took a chance, and he was very successful in his career. And not many people can say they retire after 53 years of helping people. We have we have clients that have been clients literally for 5 decades that are 4 generations deep. So it's a pretty proud thing for us for him, and then for me to continue over the years.
That's awesome. Natalie Fernandez, the partner and president of Meridian Wealth Management, is our guest today in the Huddle with Hal, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for over 25 years. So, Natalie, we brought you in here. We wanted to talk about the NIL, okay? Everybody's been, going crazy about NIL. What was your first impression when you heard about NIL?
That
was a big gulp. Everybody can't hear.
Where do I start?
Yeah.
I think NIL is so divisive and controversial, and I think you have people on one side that think that athletes should be rewarded for the money that they're bringing in, and then you have the other side that thinks athletes should come and go to school, and they have their scholarships, and they should get an education and play sports. And there's not a whole lot of in the middle. And until I understood it more, I would say I leaned more towards the education, the more traditional historical route of education, play sports, earn your scholarships, and then you move forward after that. But after many conversations, a lot of questions on my side of asking people that I trust that know more than I do, because I am not a sports connoisseur. I don't know.
So you had to get educated.
I had to get a lot. I had to get educated.
Yes.
And after doing that, I am proud to say that I am part of the NIL collective for the football team. I'm proud to do that. And the money that I've committed to the collective and to the NIL has been done with purpose. I think that I have a lot of very positive things to say about the players, but before we even get to the players, I think it's critical that the university remain relevant, and sports is a really big part of the university. It funds a lot of other areas, and the university is a very critical part of our community. And when we look at economic impact, there's a lot of catalysts that would come about to the Tucson community if the University of Arizona is not relevant.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
as a business owner and as a community member,
It's a driver.
It's a driver. And I grew up coming to these tailgates and going to the games and going to the basketball games, and I take my kids to softball games, and we go see volleyball, and we support a lot of the sports programs. I think Tucson would look different without it. And that was my reason for becoming so involved on the NIL side.
So what are you think? What do you think are some of the challenges that you'll see for NCAA athletes in the NIL era? What do you think are some of the challenges?
Well, one of my business partners is
Ricky Hundley trying to get up on me.
Get
your hand off me. I had enough of him touching me.
Ricky Hundley is a big reason that I'm involved as well. I can't lie. He was a big part of it as well. Talking about
Mr. All Access.
I know. There's only one woman, only one person that touches my hand is my wife. Okay? And you don't look like my wife.
No, he definitely does not. Your wife is beautiful. Ricky's a good guy, but he's no Lucy Howell.
Yeah, he's
That's
not.
for sure. So going back to challenges, one of my business partners is a former NFL quarterback. And, David, you know him.
Yes.
You covered him.
Tim Couch, Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, so him and his brother Greg are my business partners out in Kentucky. We have a sports and entertainment division in our company, and it's primarily been to help professional athletes and professional entertainers. And the challenge you have with the professional level, especially when it comes to athletics, is money can be really great for a really short period of time. And if you don't make good decisions with it, it could, the statistics of financial hardship from professional athletes with the amount of money they make is staggering. Now, what I think is a challenge for these players at the college level is this has opened up that same challenge at a college level. Because we know not every college player, their dreams are to go to the next level, but we know they won't all go there.
Right.
So if we can get in front of these athletes and educate them on some really good, responsible decisions at this age with that money, then it is life-changing for them, for their families, whatever it is that they do after football, whether it's the next step in the NFL or in professional sports, or if it's a career and it's not football or not their sport. So I think the challenge for them is realizing the opportunity that they have and how critical it is that they make some good decisions at this age and the impact that will have long term for them. And when you're age 18 to 22, you have kids.
Yep.
You have kids?
No, I don't.
You don't have kids. Well, I have
have.
a lot, so I could share a few because I've got a ton of them. But that age group, not many 18 to 22-year-olds are taking money seriously.
Believe me, I know that. Yes, I have a 22-year-old. Boy, if you're listening right now, you got to listen up.
Right?
Yep.
I have a 21-year-old, and I think my son, and he played in junior college basketball, but if he had some of these opportunities financially in front of him, those would be some tough decisions for him to make. So I think the challenge is that this can be short-term. There's a lot of hype behind it. There's also a lot of controversy. I think if the young men and women, but we're talking football today, so these young men can make some good choices today and build some habits long-term, man, they are going to be set up on the right track for life, really. So I see the challenge more as an opportunity.
Yeah, we're in the huddle with Glenn Howell, and our guest today is Natalie Fernandez. She's the partner and president of Meridian Wealth Management here in Tucson, and it's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for over 25 years. So, Natalie, tell us a little bit some success stories that we have.
I love these.
I love to hear success stories of
I
our
love
guys
these.
because look at they're getting some pretty decent money.
They are.
That can really set them up for their lives and change their lives, and also their families' lives.
And they are, and it ranges across the board. But let me share a few success stories that I have. It makes me so proud of these young men, and I've met a lot of them for the first time this year. And we have become very close because their level of trust and confidence and the questions that they'll ask me, the engagement is phenomenal. So I've met with a lot of these players one-on-one. And I talked to a couple of them. I said, Gunnar, can I talk about you on the radio? He said, absolutely. Manu, can I talk about you on the radio? And he said, absolutely. So these guys in this area, one of the things that I'm most proud of, and they're leading it because they were the first two that I worked with to do this, but starting Roth IRAs, starting accounts to save for retirement. And I can tell you as we sit here today that over 30 players on the football team have started saving in Roth accounts with their NIL money.
Nice.
And that's not all the top guys.
Yeah.
So a fantastic success story is that these guys at the top are leaders to everybody else. So I get calls that and players that say, hey, I heard about a Roth. I don't have a Roth. I want a Roth. So
Yeah.
when they're in the locker room and they're talking about